The galaxy created one rule to prevent extinction-level disasters, a rule every species obeyed for 60,000 years. But humanity broke it, and everything changed. The ancient galactic law. For 60,000 years, the galaxy lived under a single unbreakable command, the law of zero-point containment. It was older than empires, older than the species that now enforced it, older, perhaps, than the galaxy's recorded memory. The law was simple. No species may trigger or weaponize zero-point rage. To break this law meant annihilation, not as punishment, but as necessity. Zero-point rage was not energy, it was not plasma, it was not antimatter. It was emotion converted into physics, specifically rage. The kind of rage that only conscious beings could feel. Among the ancient species, researchers had once discovered that under extreme emotional distress, certain cognitive structures could collapse into quantum resonance pattern. These patterns amplified themselves infinitely, producing a runaway energy spike capable of destabilizing space-time. Civilizations were erased by accident. One species, the Vishura, wiped out a third of their spiral arm because of a single leader's grief-fueled rage event. After that extinction-level disaster, the law was created. No emotion-driven residents, no experiments, no exceptions. Species that evolved toward emotional volatility either learned control or perished early. The galaxy was stable, safe, predictable, until humanity arrived. Humans were a strange species to the Council, emotional, reckless, loud, but weak. Far too weak, they believed, to ever threaten galactic order. Humans possessed no psionics, no reality-warping neural structures, no quantum psychic glands like the Kralik or Eldthar. In the galactic registry, humanity was labeled Tier 1 biological, low threat, high emotion, harmless. Humanity, unaware of the law, unaware of zero-point rage, unaware of the danger they represented, expanded slowly across a few local sectors. The ancient species watched them with mild curiosity, nothing more. A young, charming, overly emotional species, harmless, until the incident on Kressel 4th. Kressel 4th was a mineral world under joint alien-human mining operations. The planet itself had no strategic value, but the region had long been contested by the Vrak Dominion. The Vrak were not patient, nor gentle, nor concerned with ancient galactic law. On a quiet mid-cycle afternoon, they launched a surprise attack. Human security teams scrambled, mining crews rushed toward evac tunnels. Alarms echoed through dust-filled caverns. Among the defenders was a young human soldier named Commander Elias Ward. He had no history of abnormal behavior, no unusual medical conditions, nothing that would ever suggest he was capable of violating the oldest law in the galaxy. But as the Vrak forces pushed deeper, Elias watched several of his team members, friends he had worked beside for years, killed in a single plasma burst. Something broke inside him. Not mentally, not emotionally, physically. His neural pathways collapsed into quantum resonance. Space around him distorted like heat vapors. Vrak armor began to tear apart without being touched. A shockwave tore through the cavern. Sensors went blind. The Vrak dreadnought orbiting the planet detected an impossible reading before its hull detonated from within. Zero-point rage event detected. For the first time in 60,000 years, the law had been broken by a human. The first human incident. The blast that erupted from Commander Elias Ward was unlike anything recorded in modern galactic history. There was no heat signature, no chemical residue, no detectable energy source, just a quantum tear, a violent distortion of reality that expanded outward in a perfect sphere, rippling through the cavern like a silent storm. The Vrake soldiers closest to him died instantly, their armor twisted as if crushed by invisible pressure. Those farther away staggered back as their weapons overloaded, circuitry frying from unknown interference. Drones fell out of the sky. Geological sensors deep beneath the planet glitched into static. The shock wave continued upward through solid rock until it punched into orbit, striking the Vrake dreadnought with the subtlety of a supernova. In less than 1 second, the ship's core inverted. It didn't explode, it imploded, collapsing inward as if space itself folded wrong. Fragments scattered like dust, and in the control rooms of nearby systems, ancient monitoring satellites recorded one impossible message: 0-point rage event confirmed. Unregistered species, human. The few surviving miners described the moment vividly during later testimony, one miner shaking as she spoke. It wasn't a weapon. Elias wasn't trying to fight. It felt like his grief became a storm. Another, I saw him scream, but no sound came out. His eyes glowed, not with light, with something else. A final witness whispered only, he didn't survive. And indeed, within seconds of the event, Elias collapsed. His body was intact, but his consciousness, his very existence, had been burned out like an overcharged circuit. He was the first human in recorded history to trigger 0-point rage. The emergency beacon from Kressel 4 reached the nearest human fleet, but it also triggered automatic alerts across the ancient network, a system older than any living species. For millennia, the network had slept, waiting for one event: an emotional species discovering rage resonance. Systems that had not activated in 60,000 years flickered online, relays pulsed with warning signals. Deep in forgotten archives, dormant machines calculated extinction probabilities. The last time 0-point rage was unleashed, a third of a spiral arm burned with white fire. Now it had returned, through a species not even considered dangerous. Humanity went from harmless to existential threat in a single afternoon. When the first alien analysts arrived at Kressel 4, they found evidence that terrified them. Elias Ward had no genetic markers linking him to the ancient species who once caused galaxy-wide destruction. He had no special glands, no psionic abilities, nothing that should allow resonance. This meant only one thing: humans could trigger 0-point rage by accident. If grief, trauma, or anger could unleash a planetary killing blast, if this ability existed in all humans, then humanity was a ticking star that could ignite at any moment. The scientists panicked, the military panicked more, but the political class, they prepared to enact the oldest protocol in the archives, Protocol 7, the lawful extermination of a dangerous civilization. Within 24 hours, the Galactic High Council convened. Representatives from 52 species assembled in a vaulted chamber shaped like a star, symbolic of unity, though unity was the last thing on anyone's mind. The Tilnari speaker opened the meeting with a declaration. Humanity has broken the law of 0-point containment. The penalty is extinction. We must act before they destroy us all. The hall erupted in roars of agreement. Only one voice opposed immediate destruction. A tall, silver-skinned figure with luminous eyes, Princess Aelira of the Elthar Dominion. She argued, We know nothing of the humans. We do not know if they can control this ability or if this man was unique. We should study them, not annihilate them." Her words were met with cold contempt. The Vrake warlord hissed, "Study them? They killed a dreadnought with emotion." Another delegate sneered, "What happens when billions of them feel grief?" Aelira remained calm, but she knew the truth. The council was terrified, and terrified species made dangerous decisions. She would need to act fast, for humanity's sake and for the galaxy's. The Alien Council panic. The Galactic High Council's chamber pulsed with tension, an atmosphere thick enough to smother reason. Representatives from every major civilization sat in a circle, each in their own hovering platform. Holographic displays projected the data from Kressel 4 above them, replaying Elias Ward's impossible outburst. Again and again, the chamber filled with the sight of the dreadnought imploding. Each replay hardened the delegate's stance. The Kralik Sophomonk whispered, trembling, "We once believed zero-point rage was extinct, but the humans, they feel emotions so easily." A reptilian general snarled, "Their species is volatile by nature. They laugh, they cry, they rage. They are walking supernovas." The Telnari speaker slammed a crystalline staff onto the floor. "We cannot risk a second Vishura incident. Extermination is justified." For the first time since the law's creation, the council prepared to wipe out an entire species not for aggression, but for emotional biology. Princess Aelira rose from her platform, her presence radiating calm authority. Her people, the Eldar, were among the galaxy's eldest and most empathic species, able to sense emotional energy in ways others could not. She read the fear in the chamber like a burning sun. "The humans did not know of our law," she said. "This soldier's collapse was accidental, triggered by trauma, not malice." The Vrake warlord thrashed its wings. "That makes them more dangerous. A weapon you can control is safe, but a bomb triggered by sadness? Unacceptable." Aelira countered, "Then study them, understand them. If they possess resonance, we must help them control it." Gasps rippled through the chamber. Help humans? Teach them to control zero-point rage? Unthinkable. The Zyran technocrat spat. "You suggest we empower a chaotic species that laughs in battle and cries at weddings? They are unstable." The council roared again, but Aelira raised her hand, and silence followed. Her voice turned soft, too dangerous. If the humans were truly unstable, their species would have gone extinct long before meeting us. The chamber paused. The logic hit harder than any warship. For the first time, doubt crept in. But fear returned quickly. The archives were clear. Species that triggered zero-point rage ultimately destroyed their own planets, neighbors, and star systems. The ancient law existed to prevent such chaos. The council voted. 49 species for extermination, 2 undecided, 1 against. Humanity was sentenced to die. But before the order could be finalized, Aelira invoked an ancient privilege available only to Eldar royalty. "I request a stay of judgment. I will visit Earth myself." The chamber erupted once more. "You would risk your life among emotional primates? What if one of them triggers resonance near you? Your death could ignite war." But Aelira remained still, calm as drifting starlight. If humanity truly holds this power, then they deserve a chance to understand it, and we deserve a chance to understand them. After a long, silent deliberation, the council reluctantly granted her 1 cycle, 1 chance, 1 investigation. If she found humanity too dangerous, Earth would burn. And so,
Princess Aeliera departed for humanity's homeworld, not knowing she would soon meet another human capable of zero-point rage, one whose sacrifice would change the fate of the galaxy.
Humanity responds. Humanity had no idea why alien ships suddenly formed a blockade around Earth. Governments panicked. Civilians panicked. News networks broadcast non-stop speculation. But the truth was far more frightening than anyone guessed. The galaxy believed humans could accidentally destroy star systems with their emotions. Earth's leaders were brought into an emergency meeting with the Eldstar princess, Aeliera. She confronted them with hard data from Kressel 4. Holograms replayed Elias Ward's energy burst. Human generals stared in disbelief. Scientists squinted, confused. Politicians whispered among themselves. Finally, a physicist cleared his throat. That is impossible. Human biology cannot generate quantum energy surges. Aeliera's expression softened. And yet, one of you did. It felt like the air disappeared from the room. The human representatives listened as she explained zero-point rage, the ancient law, the past extinctions, the council's fear. When she finished, the room fell silent. Then General Marlowe spoke the words no human wanted to say. If this is true, every human is a potential bomb. Aeliera nodded. But then something unexpected happened. The Secretary General of Earth rose from his seat and responded, "We did not know. We never meant harm. If humanity possesses this ability, we will learn to control it, and we will not allow our emotions to endanger the galaxy." It was the first HFY moment of the story. Not anger, not fear, responsibility. Humans were many things, reckless, emotional, unpredictable, but they were also adaptable, and they had survived every extinction risk their own planet threw at them. Aeliera felt something stir in her chest, a rare Eldthar instinct, a sense of hope. Human scientists began studying Elias Ward's remains. What they found stunned them. Humans possessed latent quantum emotional structures, not as strong as the ancient species, but uniquely flexible. In other species, emotional resonance followed fixed neural pathways. But in humans, it was improvisational, adapting moment to moment based on personal experience. Elias Ward had triggered his resonance from grief, but another human might trigger it from anger, or fear, or love. This made humanity unpredictable, both terrifying and promising. Aeliera realized the truth. If humans learned to control resonance, they could stabilize the galaxy, not destroy it. But if they failed, the Council would exterminate them. During this research, Aeliera met a promising figure, Captain Rowan Hale, an officer assigned to oversee human Eldthar cooperation. Calm, disciplined, focused, the opposite of Elias Ward. Yet beneath the surface, Aeliera sensed a quiet storm in him, a depth of emotion he kept tightly sealed away. He intrigued her, and worried her, because he felt exactly like Elias Ward did, right before the event. A human with enormous emotional control, but also enormous emotional power. She didn't know it yet, but Rowan Hale would soon face a choice that would determine the fate of two species. A choice that would cost him everything. The Alien Princess Intervention. Princess Aeliera spent more time with Captain Rowan Hale than with any other human. He became her guide, her escort, and, unexpectedly, her window into the human soul. He was disciplined, yes, but beneath his calm surface lay grief, loss, love, and anger woven into a complexity no Eldthar had ever felt. His emotions did not flow like a river. They collided like storms. It fascinated her, scared her, and slowly formed a bond between them neither could deny. Together, they reviewed research, visited labs, and questioned witnesses from Chrysel 4. Rowan guided her through human culture, music, stories, memories. She learned that humans processed emotion not by suppressing it, but by expressing it, laughing, crying, shouting, singing, turning pain into art, grief into ritual, anger into motivation. She realized something revolutionary. Humans do not fear their emotions, they wield them. This meant they had the one thing every ancient species lacked: the potential to control zero-point rage through emotional intelligence. The Eldthar archives had always assumed resonance was uncontrollable, but the archives had never met humans. One night, Aelira asked Rowan, "Do you fear your emotions?" Rowan hesitated. "Fear them? No, but I respect them. They're part of who we are. They're what make us human." Aelira's eyes shimmered. "And what makes you dangerous?" He smiled bitterly. "Dangerous doesn't mean evil." The words lingered between them, a truth so simple yet so vital. And in that moment, Aelira knew she could not allow the Council to destroy Earth. Humanity was not a threat. They were a miracle. But then came the second event. A rogue Vrake fleet, furious over their destroyed dreadnought, launched a retaliatory attack on Earth's orbital stations. During the battle, Rowan Hale witnessed the death of his closest friend. His emotional control shattered, his resonance ignited. Aelira felt it before anyone else, a storm building within him, the same pattern Elias Ward displayed moments before his catastrophic surge. But Rowan did not want destruction. He wanted to protect. He turned his power outward, not inward. The energy field he generated wrapped the station like a shield, absorbing enemy fire that should have vaporized them all. It was zero-point energy, but controlled through will alone. When the blast cleared, Rowan collapsed. Aelira caught him in her arms. She whispered, "You controlled it. By choice." But the Council saw something else entirely. A second human, a second resonance event. This time larger, this time recorded clearly by dozens of alien ships. The Council immediately canceled Aelira's investigation. The extermination fleet mobilized. Humanity had run out of time. Unless Rowan Hale could do something no species had ever done before, demonstrate complete, controlled mastery of zero-point rage in front of the entire galaxy, or die trying.
The tragic choice. The extermination fleet arrived in Earth's orbit like a metal storm. Thousands of ships, their weapons glowing with finality. One order, one judgment, one outcome. Princess Aelira fought desperately to stop them. She presented evidence of Rowan's controlled resonance. She showed laboratory data. She argued that humanity had learned more in 1 month than ancient species did in centuries. But fear drowned her voice. The Council had already decided. Erase humanity before they accidentally erased the galaxy. The final countdown began. Meanwhile, on Earth, Rowan Hale lay in a medical stabilization chamber. His body had been damaged by the first resonance event, his cells still fluctuating between physical and quantum states. But when the orbital alarm sounded, he forced himself upright. Pain rippled through him, but it didn't matter. The galaxy was about to murder his species. There was only one way to stop it. He needed to prove humanity could control zero-point rage by doing the impossible, absorb an extinction-level resonance event and stabilize it. Aelira tried to stop him. "You'll die. Your body cannot contain that much energy." Rowan touched her hand, his voice soft but certain. "If I don't try, every human dies anyway, and I won't let that happen, not while I can still stand. Alira felt her heart twist, the Eldar equivalent of grief. Why are your people like this? Why sacrifice yourself for a future you'll never see? Rowan smiled weakly. Because that's what humans do. We fight for tomorrow, even when we won't be there to enjoy it. It was the most HFY sentence ever spoken. Rowan entered the stabilization chamber. Human scientists activated the resonance amplifiers. Alira linked her empathic field to his mind, offering him focus, clarity, and emotional grounding. The council watched through a galaxy-wide broadcast. Rowan opened his memories, his grief, his love, his anger, his hope, and on Alira's signal, he triggered 0-point rage deliberately. The energy erupted outward, surging like a rising star, but Rowan held it, bent it, focused it inward, absorbing the runaway resonance wave, threatening to rupture space. The council gasped. Never in history had anyone done this. Never had anyone controlled 0-point rage. But the energy kept growing. Rowan's body trembled, his heartbeat faltered, his skin cracked with radiant fissures. Alira screamed, "Rowan, let it go! You'll kill yourself!" He looked at her with fading eyes. Better one life than 10 billion. Then he pushed harder. The resonance collapsed inward. A blinding flash consumed him. And when the light faded, Rowan Hale was gone. Alira fell to her knees. Her tears glowed like stardust. Humanity had been saved, but she had lost the one person who showed her the true power of emotion. Aftermath. The galaxy fell silent. Every species, every world, every council member watched Rowan Hale's sacrifice replay again and again on their holoscreens. A human had controlled 0-point rage. A human had stabilized an extinction wave. A human had died to save the species trying to kill him. The narrative shifted overnight. Humans were no longer a threat. They were a shield. A species capable of mastering cosmic forces through emotional strength, not instability. The council revoked the extermination order. Princess Alira demanded a new ruling. Humanity has proven mastery where ancient species failed. The law must be rewritten. And for the first time in 60,000 years, the law of 0-point containment was amended. Humans were appointed the guardians of resonance. Their emotional resilience made them the only species capable of safely handling 0-point energy. Earth became a protected world. Human scientists began training emotional control specialists, individuals who blended psychology, physics, and meditation into a new discipline. They called them resonance wardens. A formal tribute was erected on the council homeworld, a monument of crystal and light depicting Rowan Hale absorbing the resonance wave. At its base, carved in every council language, were his last words: "Better one life than 10 billion. Princess Alira visited Earth often, not as an ambassador, as a friend and a guardian of Rowan's legacy. She carried his memory in the Elthar way, binding a fragment of her empathic field to the moment of his sacrifice. To her people, this was sacred. To humans, it was love. Years later, a human child asked her a simple question during a school visit. Why did Rowan save us? Alira knelt beside him, eyes shimmering.
because humans are stronger than you know. Not in body, not in weapons, but in heart. Your people turned the greatest danger in the galaxy into the greatest hope. The boy nodded, thoughtfully. Then he asked, "Will humans ever cause 0-point rage again?" Aelira smiled softly. "Only if the galaxy needs saving." And in that moment, the universe understood something profound. Humanity's greatest power was not rage, not resonance, not sacrifice. It was the ability to choose what they become. The ancient law was broken. A new era began. And the galaxy would never again underestimate the species that turned emotion into salvation. HFY.